Good body girl blessed with a shape. You want me wine every man with a favor. Listen to me I beg you one favor.
Welcome back to my channel. I have a brand new artist, but one that most of y'all should know. And this is a Patreon's pick from Amy. She is part of my Princess Peach Patreon tier. So if you want your one guaranteed reaction from me per month, make sure you check out the link below where all the information is there, my Patreon page. And so Amy will like me, which I'm very excited. Dope singer, dope entertainer. We all, I knew her from Eden's Crush. But most know her from, the Pussycat Doll days, PCD. Miss Nicole Scherzinger. Scherzinger. I promise I studied, because probably 2 years ago was the first time I actually was able to say her name correctly, because for decades. But Amy wanted me to react to, which is very funny. I haven't yet to have watched this performance, but it's a very popularized performance by Nicole. It was when she was invited at the Royal Variety to do the Phantom of the Opera, and so definitely super excited because brings the inner Broadway, brings the inner classical out of me. And even though I've never, slap on the wrist, slap in the face, I've never seen the Phantom of the Opera, the actual Broadway play. It's crazy how, in America, I don't know if it's still on European land, if it's still playing, they're still doing shows for Phantom of the Opera. But I know, in New York, since it was the longest running play, I think behind Cats, they did shut it down, I think, either it was a couple years ago, or it was either last year or a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago at the most. But so I never got a chance to see Phantom of the Opera. And I dabbled in classical just a tad bit. So I never got a chance. I've heard pieces of the Phantom of the Opera, but I've never seen it in totality. So Amy did tell me that not one Phantom of the Opera, but 4 Phantom of the Opera of the males will also be performing with her. So I'm very curious to hear each Phantom of the Opera, how they sound as far as color and just everything. So I'm really super excited to definitely check out this reaction, and I know it's a popular reaction too, so I'm probably will be lost in the weeds, but that's okay. But without further ado, let's get into it. Nicole Scherzinger, Phantom of the Opera performance off of the Royal Variety Show. Let's go.
Not only do we have 4 of the great phantoms we've had over the years, John Owen Jones, Ramin Karimloo, Simon Bowman and Al Carpenter, but we have a girl tonight who is going to play Christine, my beloved role in musical theatre, and I don't think you're going to believe the transformation from when she first performed this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, playing the role of Christine tonight with my phantoms, Nicole Scherzinger.
So Nicole sounds really good here. I'm loving the breath support and the breath control that she is exhibiting, and how she is also, her enunciation is also very key here in making sure she hits certain notes. in the score. So she's sounding very beautiful. Now, like I said, I have not seen the Broadway play. So just for my own creating the atmosphere, if you will, since it's a live performance, we'll just want to know, for those who have actually been to the actual Broadway show, is this a gown that is not necessarily this actual replica of this, but during this performance, is a gown like what Nicole has? Is that something that actresses normally would have on during the performance of this score? So please drop down in the comments to let me know. Obviously, she looks breathtaking. She looks completely gorgeous, but just want to know, since they are creating some type of, background for the Phantom of the Opera, just was very curious to know if a gown of this similar is worn during the actual performance. All right, let's see what the boys gonna do.
Sing once again with me a strange duet. My power over you grows stronger yet. And though you turn from me to gloves behind, the phantom of the opera is there inside your mind.
Okay, we got to dissect this one real quick. So what I love, let me go back here. What I love about the 4 different Phantom of the Operas, is the fact that the first 2 were very similar, but once you got to the third, even though that is a baritone, which I love, I just love how they each attack the song, but depending on the individual. So like the first 2, I can tell they're using more breath support because it is a very or it just could be just because of their vocal range, because I can tell they're natural tenors compared to the third one. I can tell he's a baritone, but I can tell he got a tenor. He has a tenor vocal range, but it wasn't in their throat. So, for example. Look at that. Sing with me a strange duet. That was me doing just with breath, but if I did my chest voice, come sing with me, my dear. I am nobody's tenor. I'm not even gonna finish that. But you see the difference between come sing with me, my dear. More breath. And then we get to the third. My power over you grows stronger yet. And though you turn from me. And though you turn from me. So yes. Giving me the vapors, darling. Anywho. So, who is he? Because I need the soundtrack for that one. But yes, I'm a baritone. So baritones just have a soft part of my heart. But I just want y'all to see the difference between, like, for those who choose to use more breath control to hit certain notes. And I can tell he's just a prowess guy. Like he has the vocal tenacity to do it full voice. And he got a blend of the 2. He got a blend of both breath and throat. I'm a temp. The Phantom of the Opera. So yes, I am done. Don't ask me no more. I have not done that since college, and that's been. Anywho, the boys, the men. They sound amazing. All right, I'm done. I have disrespected this song long enough. We just gonna watch it through. Nicole, boys, take us on. Let's go.
Inside your
Those who have seen your face draw back in fear. I am the mask you wear.
It's me they hear.
My spirit and my voice in one combined.
The phantom of the opera is there.
Inside
In all your fantasies, you always knew that man and mystery.
both and in this labyrinth where night is light,
The phantom of the opera is
inside
My angel of music.
is there the phantom of the
sing to me.
So, yes, definitely tens across the board for Nicole and the Phantoms. So, would love to know, for those, once again, who have seen the Broadway play or who listens to the soundtrack regularly, and knows of the actresses who have, masterpiece that song, would just love to know in the comments your thoughts on how Nicole did, in comparison to those who do that particular number and that particular, that note and the longevity of that note to go into that high. I can't even think of which note that is. That's taking me back to my pedigree days. And in theory, but would love to know just how does she rank, did she do this song justice? Because for me, for somebody who has never I know of the song, but for somebody who's never watched the play or not even, I've never even seen the movie version of it, would just love to know, where does it, how do you feel that she ranks? Because for me, it was pretty freaking phenomenal. But I do know classical female singers who can hit that note, and I mean, without a mic, can hit that note and destroy in an arena. So once again, because this is a televised production, of course it's audio production, a team, Nicole could have very well did that. She could have blown that entire, opera. I don't know if they're in the opera house, but wherever they are, could have definitely, annihilated that whole arena. But of course, with TV, you have to calibrate it, engineer it to making sure that it doesn't, it sounds well to the audience receiving it in. So have no clue. But like I said, I think she did a phenomenal job. Would love to know, did she actually do a leg of the Phantom of the Opera after this performance or before this performance? But definitely drop your comments. Let me know what you all feel about this. And I definitely want to hear from those who actually who one is a lover of the play, but for those who have seen the play, how do you feel this performance actually stood up to, how does it compare to, those who have seen other ladies play this role and do this performance? Would definitely just love to hear another perspective. But like I said, it's 10s for me. So y'all drop in the comments, you all let me know your thoughts, and I will see y'all for the next one.